boat gave a big shudder. Seems we docked at the harbor. The boat driver came out and jumped to the pier with a mooring rope. A large man in a tuxedo was waiting there for us with a warm smile. I didn't recognize his face, but judging by his clothes, I guessed he was a servant of the Ushiromiya head household. Oh fuck, why is it so loud? Oh, never mind.
Welcome home, milady. You were so late in returning that I began to worry.
Thanks for caring. This moron got so scared we had to slow down. It was seriously annoying.
Shut up. Someday, when the shoe's on the other foot, you'll remember this. Ugh. At this rate, word will spread to the whole family, and I'll be the big conversation piece during dinner. Even without this, everyone will be talking about me because of the 6-year gap. Now I've given them an even juicier topic. Damn it, why does the Ushiromiya family head household... Wait, okay, worm. Damn it, why does the Ushiromiya head family have to live on this isolated island? In the meantime, the boat had finished its mooring. A small plank was lowered so that we can go down. One by one, our parents came out from inside the boat.
You must all be quite tired from your long trip. Madam, please allow me to assist you.
Thank you. It's been a while. Goda-san, how are you?
I thank you for your concern. It's always been my pleasure to serve.
Bandler-kun, isn't this your first time meeting Goda-san? If I'm not mistaken, you were working here 6 years ago, right?
We're not.
Oh, indeed. So please, allow me to greet him for the first time. It is an honor to meet you, Bandler-sama.
I'm pretty confident about my height, but you're huge. This is definitely our first time meeting. I'd never forget meeting a big guy like you. For you. It's a pleasure. I'm Battler. I'm sorry.
You're a big guy.
I was looking forward to meeting you. I am Goda, your servant, and I have been working for the Ushiromiya head family since the year before last. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. If there is anything you need, please feel free to rely on me at any time.
Goda-san, it's been some time.
It's been too long, George-sama. Please, allow me to assist you.
As usual, you're a pro at welcoming guests. If you ever need a job, just let me know, okay? I'd hire you anytime.
You do me too much honor. Please, allow me to assist you, Hideyoshi-sama.
Goda-san then lent a hand to everyone as they disembarked, greeting them as they passed. His speech and mannerisms had the refined polish of a professional. He was very graceful, in contrast with his initially tough-looking appearance. His large size made him seem a bit scary at first. He was much more polite than my first impression had led me to believe. He claimed to have served on this island for 2 years, but he had doubtlessly worked a similar job somewhere before. After everyone disembarked, the mooring rope was untied and the boat started to steer away from the harbor. It was probably returning to its home port on Nijima. The captain waved his hand in farewell. Maria conscientiously waved her hand back. Now that I think about it, that must be why I felt something out of place for a while now. I can't hear the cries of the seagulls.
Seagulls? The birds?
If I remember correctly, whenever we came to this island in the past, the seagulls always greeted us with their lively nya nya cries. I guess that's what seagull sounds like, Battler. Yeah, seagulls.
When the seagulls cry.
When the seagulls cry. What
Yeah.
happens when the seagulls cry? Thinking emoji. Because of that, whenever I hear the cries of the seagulls anywhere else, I get the feeling that I'm coming to a family conference. Except for the small part of the island where those of the Ushiromiya family had lived, Rokkenjima has I'm fumbling. Rokkenjima has been left uncultivated, which apparently makes it a paradise for wild birds. Supposedly, there was a cliff somewhere that housed a huge seagull colony, so this island was always full of seagulls. Not having those seagulls here to greet us made me feel a bit lonely.
What's wrong, Battler-kun?
Oh, Aunt Rosa. Nah, it's nothing really. I was just thinking it's a bit lonely without the cries of the seagulls.
My, that's true, now that you mention it. Even though they're always so noisy, today there isn't one to be seen.
Ooh? Why no seagulls?
Maybe it's because the seagulls are having a get-together somewhere too. Maria, did you want to see the seagulls?
Ooh, wanted to see them. Still, it's a bit strange that there isn't even a single one around. Maybe Jessica grilled them all and ate them. Ooh.
The hell? Don't say disturbing stuff like that. You'll get Maria believing it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Jessica One-chan grilled him. Jessica One-chan grilled him. Ooh.
I did not. Why the hell would I do something like that?
That's right. Jessica grilled him. Skin and meatballs, liver and onion. Swim in the meat dolls, liver and onion. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ha 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 ha. As I made fun of Jessica, Maria tagged along, looking like she was having fun. Oh, I never guessed she'd be such a good sport. Alrighty then, from today on, I'll make you my #1 follower. As I smiled at her, she beamed, looking overjoyed, possibly because she was happy about this little connection we'd made with each other.
That's not it, Maria-chan. I've heard wild birds are attuned to the changes in the weather and atmospheric pressures. The weather will probably get worse tonight. The seagulls might have returned to their nests early.
Ooh. Not grilled? Jessica One-chan didn't grill him?
No, I wouldn't do something like that. Battler, you admit right now that you lied. Battler-kun, Maria-chan is a naive girl. She takes every joke seriously. You should choose your jokes more carefully.
George Aniki gently scolded me. Even though I outstripped Aniki in height, Aniki was Aniki, of course. There was no choice but to obediently apologize. Sure, my bad. Maria, that was a joke. The seagulls are all taking it easy in their nest today, that's all. Battler lied? George Oni-chan told the truth?
It's the George truth.
It is the George truth. Had she actually been tricked, despite all the fun she was having? Her pure eyes made me feel guilty. Maybe I went a little overboard with her after all. Yeah, that's right. What George Aniki said is true. The weather's bad, so they probably went home for today. It doesn't mean that they're gone. Right, Aunt Rosa?
That's right. Tomorrow, when the weather gets better, I'm sure they'll come back so we can hear them cry meow meow like they always do.
Ooh! I'll wait until the weather gets better, and they come back. Gonna wait until tomorrow. Gonna wait until the weather's better. Ooh, ooh! Maria was in a lighter mood, and was looking forward to tomorrow when the seagulls would come back and fill the skies. Still, George Aniki really was amazing at taking care of kids. I think I remember Aniki taking good care of me as well when I was a brat 6 years ago. Aniki, that's probably your gift.
George-kun is amazing at taking care of young kids. If you wanted to, I'll bet you'd do great with a job in childcare. Don't you think? Yeah, it's almost like George Nisan was born to do something like that. Personally, I think that'd suit you better than it does business in some company president's office. Oh no. Childcare is a fine career path, but it is not a job where merely liking children is enough. You really are modest, George-kun. But Battler-kun is quite good with children too. Just a second ago, even though it didn't last long, Maria seems to be having a lot of fun. Please, keep on playing with her like you just did. Just choose your jokes more carefully, okay?
Aunt Rosa winked at me, giggling a little. She's a real mother, I thought to myself, who's happy to see Maria having fun. Okay, Warren.
Come on, Rosa. And you brats, too. What the hell are you doing? Let's get going.
Okay, we're coming.
XD. The old bastard is waving for us to hurry up. Yeah, we needed to get moving. We might as well have this conversation after setting our luggage down in our rooms.
Now then, everyone, allow me to lead you to the guest house, where you will be spending the night. Please, this way.
Goda-san called to everyone and led the way. Kumasawa-san brought up the rear. That pause on Goda actually made me a little uncomfortable.
Like some Gant shit?
Yeah. This song is actually going to make me cry. Scott, stand up, 'cause we're going to hug. A serpentine twisting path led through a dim forest. It ran a bit uphill. I'd guess the path was made all twisty so the slope wouldn't seem too steep, but personally, I'd have been happier if they'd had the guts to make some stairs in a straight line. No doubt they made a path twist on purpose to put the airs of distance and importance. Before long, we saw garden-style stone steps. From here on, I do have some memories. Go up these and... At the top of the stone steps, we saw a beautiful guest house. Alright, come here, Scott.
We're leaving this hug in post.
Its facade was lovely, of course, but more importantly, we couldn't enter its doors without having our hearts stolen away by the splendor of the beautiful rose garden spreading before it. Thank you, Scott.
Ah! It's as beautiful as ever this year. A real delight for the eyes.
After climbing the stone steps, the people greeted by this rose garden gave voice to their impressions one by one.
Is it just me, or are the flowers a little less lively this year? It's probably because it wasn't that hot this summer.
I also believe that was a factor. Sadly, this year's blooming is a tad inferior when compared to last year's.
Even so, it was a delightful rose garden. I remember that even 6 years ago, huge numbers of roses had greeted us every year. This rose garden was the first thing that greeted the people who came to Rokkenjima. Even our parents, who came every year, couldn't help but give voice to their admiration. In fact, it seemed to have undergone a power-up from the garden in my memories from 6 years ago.
This place was always so amazing. It would be wonderful to have a rose garden like this at home.
Give it up. Who do you think would take care of it? Where's the real pain, bugs and diseases to worry about?
Well, from what I've heard, Kyrie-san takes care of her roses every day and makes sure no bugs get anywhere near it. Right?
Huh? What are you talking about?
That's right. Though in this person's case, the rose goes after the insects like some nasty carnivorous plant.
Oh, so that's what you mean. Come on, Rosa. Can you give that a rest just for today? Put that sort of thing completely behind me.
I wonder. After all, you're a womanizer on almost all genetic level.
No need to worry, Rosa-san.
XD.
When a rose gives you too much trouble, it's always best to snip it at the roots.
Oh, such frightening talk this is.
Guys who were popular with ladies are always forced to live dangerously. I sure hope I turn out a bit prettier in my next life.
Damn, Hideyoshi.
Hideyoshi Nissan, like I keep saying, it isn't like that at all. And Kyrie, stop it. You're freaking me out. You've made my rose wilt.
XD, Rudolph. Honestly, fuck Rudolph.
Hey, Maria-chan, look over here. These roses are especially magnificent.
Magnificent roses? Ooh! Smells pretty sweet. Look, this suits my elegance perfectly.
Hey, cut it out. Maria's gonna imitate you and get hurt by the thorns.
She yelled at me as I leaned in to smell the rose's scent with an exaggerated gesture. I thought she was overreacting, but when I turned around, I saw Maria imitating my every gesture and George Anarchy smiling broadly at us.
Hey now, Maria-chan, be careful. Rose thorns can hurt.
Ooh, George Oni-chan. Only this rose is strange. Ooh.
Strange? What's wrong?
Maria pointed out a single rose. I immediately understood why she found it odd. In the midst of all these magnificent roses, only one single rose was just starting to wilt. There wasn't any particular reason. Some flowers flourish and others wilt. That's all there was to it. But Maria seemed very concerned about the only unhealthy one in the group. It must have made her feel lonely.
So you feel sad for this rose because it's the only one that isn't healthy?
Ooh, the others are all healthy, but this one's sad.
Well, they all bloom and wither in their own paces. I'll be this one's just starting to wilt early because it bloomed before any of the others.
Ooh, we don't care about that. Yeah, that's right. It probably just bloomed like crazy, fulfilled its duty, and went to sleep. You shouldn't get so worked up about it. Ooh. It seemed that Maria's pure, sensitive nature was making her feel some emotional pain for the rose that wilted alone. Even though she understood the logic of it, it still felt lonely to her.
Then Maria-chan, why don't you look after this rose until we leave?
Ooh? George Anarchy straightened up and felt around in his pocket. He then took out a wrapper from the candy he had been sucking on the plane, twisted it into a thin string, then gently tied it to the rose as a sort of marker.
Hey, that one's pretty cute.
That's pretty good.
Let's mark it with this. Later on, you can come and give it some water. I'm sure Mr. Rose will be happy.
Ooh! Come to give it water!
I think you should give Mr. Rose here a name. I'm sure that'll make it happy, and you'll get to know it a little better.
A name? A name. Ooh. Though she still wore her usual sullen face, Maria crossed her arms and began to consider this intently. At the very least, she appeared to have been completely pulled out of her slump. Nice going, Aniki.
George Nissan has always been really understanding. Can't help but respect him.
Yeah. I guess he was just born that way. We've got to start picking up tips.
Was this garden just as magnificent when you all were kids?
It was only after I stopped living here that it grew so big. Before that, the garden was simpler, though I'm still attached to that one. Nissan fiddled with it too much, with that vaguely bad taste of his. I like it much better before.
Ava, you gotta think positive. Setting aside how it used to look, its beauty is now something to be admired. You'll be able to relax a lot better if you look at it that way.
I didn't mean it like that. I was just saying that I wanted you to see this garden the way it was before, too.
Everyone, if you please, I shall guide you to your rooms now.
Goto-san called to everyone to ask if we were ready, but our hearts had been completely stolen away by the rose garden that none of us had seen for a year, so we didn't pay much attention to him. Since we weren't a travel group, it wasn't like we had a strict schedule to follow. Besides, since our parents were visiting their old home, full of nostalgia, it wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged on by anyone or anything. Understanding the situation, Goto-san continued to wait, smiling widely, until our parents got tired of the roses and told him to guide us to our rooms.
Oh? Hey! If it isn't Kennen-kun!
My son.
It's been so long, how are you doing?
Uncle Hideyoshi suddenly shouted. Anime boy. In the direction he was waving was a slender boy. Yeah. Meeting him right after a huge man like Goto probably emphasized his small stature. The boy was in the middle of transporting piled up gardening tools and the like in the wheelbarrow. When he realized he was being called to stop, he set down the wheelbarrow, took off his hat, and bowed his head.
Good afternoon.
I figured he was probably younger than me, and I realized by the general atmosphere surrounding him that he was another servant. He greeted us in response to Uncle Hideyoshi's call, but he seemed like he might be pretty unsociable most of the time. It was a greeting that lacked feeling. When Goto-san noticed that our interest had shifted towards him, he went to the boy's side and introduced him to us.
Battle-san, allow me to introduce you. This is one of the servants of the Ushiroma head household.
Ushiromiya.
Ushiromiya head household.
Yeah, we gotta get used to saying that.
I'm used to saying that.
Kennen-san, greet our guests.
I'm pleased to meet you. I am the servant, Kano.
Oh, do we want to look at tips soon?
Sure.
Like maybe after we meet Krause and Natsume?
Sure.
Okay. Yep, my first impression wasn't wrong. He seemed to be unsociable, or at least not so good at talking. Compared to Goto-san, who was extraordinarily polished as a servant, you couldn't help but feel an inexperience typical of his age. When Goto-san urged him in a whisper to give a bit more of an introduction, the boy named Kanon only cast his eyes downwards.
Kennen-san, could you perhaps give them a little more of a greeting?
No. Because we are furniture.
He didn't seem to be refusing to greet us out of spite. Rather, he seemed to have fallen silent because he didn't know what else to say to us in greeting.
Well, Kennen-kun's shy and doesn't tend to talk much. He might not be that sociable, but deep down, he's a really good person. Don't get him wrong. You've been working here for 3 years, haven't you? Pretty sure you started a year before Goto-san, right?
Even though he wasn't exactly giving a terrible first impression, Jessica hurriedly backed him up. I see. Apparently his unsociable nature causes him trouble a lot. Okay then, nice to meet you. I'm Battler. I'm 18. How old are you? He fell silent, as though wondering whether or not it was a question he'd have to answer. But here again, Jessica plowed ahead.
If I remember correctly, Cannon's 2 years younger than us, so 16, right?
Oh, so she's the same age as Battler?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that is correct.
It looked like he would have preferred not tell us his age if given the choice. That was probably because he thought we'd look down on him for it. I remembered that when I was around his age, I hated being asked how old I was by adults. I see. 16, huh? That's gotta be a delicate time. Which means I probably asked something I shouldn't have. I'm glad you're about our age. Just be cool and call me Battler. And I'll call you Cannon.
Thank you very much. But the sentiment alone is sufficient, Battler-sama.
Jessica looked panicky for some reason. She seemed to think that my impression of Cannon was getting worse because of his refusal. Well, as a girl, Jessica probably couldn't understand the fretful male heart at this age. As his elder, even by just 2 years, I took it upon myself to be understanding of that. Yeah, they're just like this.
What a cunt.
Yeah.
Cannon-san, could you perhaps be a little more courteous? A smiling face is also part of a servant's duty.
My apologies. I shall make an effort. Goda-san, Kanon-kun is trying his best, yes?
It looked like he was often warned about being unsociable, and apparently he hadn't improved one bit. Goda-san kept his business smile, but let a small sigh of resignation escape.
Well then, I still have work to do, if you'll excuse me.
It looked like Cannon himself was uncomfortable with remaining silent here any longer. After another perfunctory bow, he turned again and started pushing the wheelbarrow. Just then, the wheelbarrow suddenly wobbled and fell, scattering the load. I guess the wheelbarrow's single wheel got caught on a pebble and lost its balance.
What do you think you're doing? Now, clean it up quickly.
Goda-san urged him to hurry in a quiet voice, as though hinting that it was shameful for a servant to appear clumsy in front of guests. Cannon-kun wordlessly reloaded the wheelbarrow with the fallen objects, as if to say that he understood quite well without being told. He seemed to be fine with the light-looking gardening tools, shovels and such, but he looked like he was having trouble getting his arms around and lifting up the sacks of fertilizer.
Are you okay? You're so careless. Here.
Milady, you will dirty your garments. Please, leave this to us.
With a smooth motion, Goda-san took the shovel that Jessica had picked up. Behind him, Cannon was having trouble with the sacks of fertilizer. Ooh, you'll dirty your garments? Don't worry, the ones I'm wearing aren't that expensive. Besides, I hate guys who just sit there and make the waitress pick up the fork they dropped at a restaurant. I lifted up the other bags that had fallen. Of course, they weren't light, but for me it was a piece of cake. Cannon-kun looked at me, surprised. It was the face of someone who never would have expected to receive help from a guest.
But Battler-sama, don't worry about it. I will take care of everything, so...
Don't you worry. I may not look it, but I've got it where it counts. Since Cannon-kun looked like he hadn't yet gone through his growth spurt, he was struck with a weak sort of body. This kind of weight might have been too much for him.
It's quite heavy. It's natural that it would be difficult for you. Don't worry about it, Cannon-kun.
Okay, my time to shine. This makes up for the boat stuff from before, right?
Ha! As if this could make up for freaking out like that. Later, I'll tell you about it too, Cannon-kun. Battler was totally hilarious.
Gonna fall! Ooh, ooh, ooh!
Does she always begin her end her sentences with ooh?
I mean, like, yeah. As they did this, I piled all the stuff back into... Oh, wait, yeah, that's Battler. As they did this, I piled all the stuff back into the wheelbarrow.
I beg your forgiveness for letting you witness such unsightliness.
Come now, that's quite enough. Please, go.
Letting the guests who are supposed to feel welcome seeing such a disgraceful thing must have been hideously embarrassing for a servant. Pressed by Goda to hurry up and go, Cannon-kun left.
You're too harsh on him, Goda-san. Shouldn't you have helped him instead of being a bully?
That was wrong of me. I deeply implore your forgiveness.
Without even a twitch in his smile, Goda-san apologized elegantly.
Cannon-kun has a ton of things he's good at too. It's just that being young works against him all the time. It's a crying shame.
Well, it's a prickly age. Let's just leave him be. After all, closed-mouthed servants are the best kind. Isn't that right, Kumasawa-san? Oh, Rudolph-sama, you truly are harsh. There is no servant as silent as me, of course.
Everyone smiled wryly at that obvious lie, even though she didn't herself believe that, not in her wildest dreams. So she must have said it to lighten the mood. Yeah, that's the kind of character Kumasawa Bachan used to be.
That's the kind of man I was.
Jesus. The unstiff atmosphere cleared up at once thanks to her cheerful smile.
I'd like to set down our luggage soon. Goda-san, what rooms are we all going to take? It shall be the same as the previous year. Allow me to guide you. Please, this way.
As we headed toward a trim, elegantly simple guest house, this was going to be our temporary quarters for the night. Cannon watched over a hedge as the guests all entered the guest house. Then, he let his eyes fall on those heavy sacks of fertilizer piled up in the wheelbarrow. In his mind, he kept going over his previous mistake. Battler, big and strong, had picked up the sacks in front of him, the sacks Cannon couldn't lift himself, as if they were feathers. It would be extremely difficult for an outsider observer to guess what emotions that favor had stirred up in Cannon, but as far as you could tell by watching him hang his head, there was something that he just couldn't let go of. Muttered words escaped his lips, but those words he murmured were so soft that they didn't even reach his own ears.
Even I.
Cannon hung his head, slightly biting his lower lip. Cannon's an anime boy.
Very much so.
Goddamn.
I love him.
His furniture.
I remember the rose garden, but I don't remember this guest house at all. Was it built recently? Torian, Visitor's Retreat, was written on the gatepost-like thing, but since everyone called it the guest house, I followed their lead. The brand new Western-style guest house, which stood overlooking the roses, had a magnificent design carefully done in harmony with the garden.
Correct. It was built the year before last. Ever since then, they've had a sleepover here. This place is more the fun than that junky old mansion, you know. I wish my room was over here.
Ooh, I want a room here too. I want one. I guess you could say my own house was upper class, but to me, it felt completely ordinary compared to the head family. The display of wealth was shocking, as the fact that they built this kind of awesome guest house for guests who come only a few times a year.
Eva-sama, Hideyoshi-sama, please, do make use of this room. Rudolph-sama, Kyrie-sama, please, take this room here.
I really do love how beautiful and elegant this place is. Western-style architecture is truly wonderful.
I really do love how beautiful and elegant this place
That
is.
was-
Yeah, this line. Right
That's
here.
the line Abe. It's just.
Okay, my bad. I can handle Western design for a few days, but any longer than that, and you need the good old Japanese look.
The good old Japanese look. Truly, actually.
Japanese people just relax best on tatami mats.
I fucking love this Hideyoshi so much.
They've been fighting over whether to make our new home Japanese style or Western style. Mom still holds a grudge about Dad having the construction started with a Japanese layout, and they bicker all the time about it. I'm real jealous, George and Nissan. Your parents get along well, don't they? Mine are so frosty. Then again, they're always in sync when it comes to my grades.
All the rooms seated for 2 people. I was grateful, since I wasn't going to be forced to share the same room with the old bastard, under the pretext that we were family. And anyway, I figured that those 2 wouldn't want to enjoy themselves with someone like me around.
What's with that creepy smile? You're thinking about something dirty, aren't you?
Something dirty? Of course not. Please enjoy your stay. Ow, 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 ow! That hurts, you old bastard! Once again, Dad pulled my ears from behind.
Cut the crap. I'm getting a stomach ache, and I'm not in the mood for this. You're the guest of honor this time around, so play as nice as possible with Dad and Aniki and the rest. At the very least, be careful what you say in front of Dad, got it? Because wisecracks don't go well with him. Jessica-chan, what's the head's mood been like lately? Oh my god, Tori-chan!
Same as last year, I guess. Considering they say he's got 3 months left to live, he's as lively, grumpy, and irritable as ever.
Ah!
Meaning this year he's in his usual bad mood. And as usual, the only one who's able to look after him is Genji-san?
It seems the master will open his heart to no one else. Lately, us small people have not even been granted an audience with him.
He shut himself up in his study again, probably doing nothing but that weird black magic of his. What he does for a hobby is his own damn business, but when he starts stinking up the house, it really gets on my nerves. I wish he'd never come out of that study again. You shouldn't talk like that about the elders. We're all in debt to him, since he rebuilt the Umineko family. Ishiromiya family. We should be more grateful. Well, sorry.
After being rebuked by George Aniki, Jessica had no choice but to take back her thoughtless remark. The Ushiromiya family was wealthy beyond belief, but of course, that meant all its members were a bit strange, and completely out of touch with the world at large. At the top of the chain, the family head, our grandfather, seemed especially strange and terrifying, even for our family. Dad said he was getting a stomachache earlier, and I imagine that reflected the honest feelings of all the adults here today. No doubt they were jealous of us grandchildren, who could just play and laugh without a care. From the stories Dad told me, the family head was a violent man who ruled with his fists, beating his children, even his daughters, mercilessly with a wooden sword. If he was so strict and uptight about that, why couldn't he be a little more conservative with his kids' names? Because of that, even us grandkids have to suffer. Anyway, I can't say I have any trouble believing those terrifying stories about him. I don't remember meeting him very often, but I think I recall him looking extremely grumpy all the time, always making people cower with that sharp gaze of his. I remember that room's atmosphere got so tense whenever he was around. You couldn't even breathe. What my dad said about me being the guest of honor now carries a little more oomph for me. 6 years ago, I was in elementary school, but I'm a high schooler now. If I act up, things could get serious. Ooh, scary.
He does look frightening, but he's not so terrifying that you need to tense like that. Nothing of what he says is truly unreasonable.
Wait, guys, stop for a second. I just realized. He said that he was 6 years ago, he was in elementary school.
I think Japanese people could, bunch up middle and elementary school.
Yeah.
Alright. I was about to say that means he was in elementary school since he was 12.
Yeah, fucking XD.
He was held back for so long.
I mean, I wouldn't...
Held
I mean,
back
that's like
because
1
Pepper's
year.
a fucking idiot.
That's like 1 year, actually.
What is?
That's just 1 year off.
Is it?
In 5th grade, I was like 11.
Oh, okay.
So I turned 11 in 5th grade. So.
Maybe he's like one of those late juniors.
Maybe.
Maybe he's
Just fine.
dense.
He may be clumsy, but
Clumsy at
he may be clumsy at times. But he's at talking. But he's a very logical person. But George Nissan, you've been the family's darling since forever because of your awesome grades, right? Grandfather treats us completely different. I've even gotten slapped with a wooden sword on my ass. My ass!
Jesus.
On my maidenly innocent ass.
I love you, Jessica.
Knocking at the door.
I should hope not.
Fucking
I'm
God.
not doing any shady shit.
I mean, this is kind of sketchy.
It is very sketch. I just yelled my ass.
Your maidenly innocent ass.
I hate you.
Okay.
Well, you're the heiress of the head family, Jessica Chan.
You better cut that, Scott, by the way.
What if I just don't?
That'd be pretty funny. That'd be equally as funny.
Grandfather is giving you special attention. You've got to realize that his strictness reflects his high hopes for you. Oh, come on, seriously. I could just turn the succession over to you, George Nissan. It's a bit of a heavy burden for me to carry.
I think I already said it before, but Jessica's the girl heir to the head family. We're only cousins in branch families, so she probably feels a totally different sort of pressure than we do. Ooh? Jessica Oni-chan, is that heavy? If I help hold it, will it get lighter? Yeah.
Thanks. It's okay. I'm not gonna push it on you, Maria. I'm gonna bear this cross until my grave. Don't worry.
She was grateful for Maria's innocent concern, but Jessica's face still seemed to contain some of the uneasiness she felt towards the future. Maybe we were in the same boat. Any high schooler with exams approaching would have trouble hiding their anxiety for the future.
Maria, come here. You and I will be in this room. Battler-kun, I heard you're gonna be with me in this room here.
Alright, George. Oh, now there's a surprise. It's a bit bigger than our parents' room. Dang.
Well, I figured we cousins would all want to hang out together, so I told them to get a bigger room ready.
Ooh, I like it here more too. I'd rather be here than with Mama. Ooh.
Damn.
Oh, you like it better here too, Maria? Okay, this room is George and mine's, but we'll give you special permission to come in. Better keep it a secret from your mom, okay? Ooh, it's a secret. Aunt Rosa was right behind us, but Maria still answered, striking the air with her fists clenched tight. After setting down their luggage in their rooms, our parents had gathered again in the corridor.
Hey, what are you brats planning to do? Are you cousins just gonna stay here and chat?
It seemed that they were heading to the mansion to announce their arrival. Normally, they would make us follow them and greet everyone together, but if that had been the case, Dad would have just told us to come, and that'd be the end of it. He's saying it's okay if we don't come, so what'll we do?
Well, it's gotta be lunchtime before long anyway. Better let the kids unwind here. Besides, if worse comes to worse, this might be their last chance to play outdoors.
He's talking about the rain, by the way.
Thank fucking God.
Ooh! I'll go too!
Maria, you house sit for Mama, okay? Behave yourself and wait here.
Ooh. Since Mary was being told to house sit, we certainly couldn't leave her on her own. George Aniki noticed this immediately and gave a clear reply for all of us cousins.
Well then, we'll accept your offer and house it. We've got lots of stories to tell each other after being away for a year.
That sounds wonderful. And Battler-kun has 6 years worth of stories to tell, doesn't he?
Yeah. I'll take care of the house like a good boy. Okay, that one.
That is a good boy.
Battler is a good boy.
Kumisawa-san, I'm gonna stay here too. We'll break length. Oh, okay. We'll break rank and leave the rest of the adults.
Perhaps that would be best. I'll report back to Mama. Madam.
To Mama?
I did like Tommy Wiseau laughed there. I was like, That's why.
Then allow me to guide you all to the mansion. This way, please.
This is a good time. Catch your breath, Hannah.
Go outside if you need
I'm
to.
having asthma. The other children are one thing, but Georgie is getting to be an adult.
Georgie?
I mean, that's like... Georgie?
Wouldn't it be better if he came with us? Fuck me.
If we make him come, then poor George will be the only one out of place.
You okay, Hannah?
I think I know what you. Anyways.
Let it out.
I guess we're the only ones who thought of
Should
it
we
that
say
way.
it?
Wait, what?
If we make him come.
God damn it.
If we make him come. If we make him come.
Love is just.
I'm gonna fucking nut.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you
We're the dirty-minded ones, I guess.
My insides hurt.
Well-
I can't continue this bitch.
Yep,
Okay.
go ahead.
Interacting with his cousins is also important. Okay, see y'all later.
We didn't like that.
The adults left one after the other. They left in the same formation as our trip from the harbor, with Goda-san leading and Kumasawa-san taking up the rear. As we gathered in the room assigned to us cousins, George Aniki asked us to excuse him for a second. He rushed over to Kumasawa-san, who was following behind the disappearing adults, and seemed to ask her something. He soon finished his business and came back. What's up, Aniki? No problem.
Nothing. I just wanted to ask her
When your
something.
glasses all fogged up.
Ooh, tell me too. Honestly, indecipherable from Battler.
Huh? What could George Nisan be asking Kumasawa-san and not me, I wonder? I don't have a clue. No, it's a misunderstanding. Not that I know what you're misunderstanding.
Aniki was getting pretty tongue-tied. It was almost as though he felt guilty about something, and Jessica knew exactly what he was worried about. At any rate, it's no fun if Jessica to know about it and not me. Hey, Maria, it looks like we're the only two out of the loop, right? Don't you want to know what they're talking about? Ooh, we want to know too. We want to know too. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I fooled around while ooh-oohing together with Maria.
No, I'm telling you. It's not a big deal.
Liar. I'm surprised you'd tell such a terrible lie, Aniki. Confess. Maria, you tickle his right side. I'll tickle his left. Ooh, I've got his right side. Better's got his left. Ooh.
Wait a second. Wait, you two. Stop.
Maria and I played around, chasing George Aniki as he tried to escape, rolling on the bed. I realized high schoolers aren't supposed to bounce around like kittens, but I still miss this kind of fun. A warm, cozy kind of fun.
George Nisan, what were you asking Kumasawa-san? Well, I've got a good guess. It's been a year since the last time you visited the head family. Who knows what servants might have come and gone during that time. Either way, it looks like he'd like to go and say hi.
Ooh? Say hi. I want to say hi too. What the hell? There's nothing to feel guilty about, Aniki. I'm not buying it. Maria, don't be fooled. Aniki's hiding something. More torture. Ooyah!
Stop it, seriously. Maria-chan, you two stop already. She's probably busy cleaning or getting lunch already. Don't worry, she'll drop by to say hi sooner or later. I'll bet you'd rather be welcomed in by Shannon instead of that noisy Goda.
Shannon? Shannon. Ah, yeah, I remember a girl with that name. Is she still a servant? How's she doing? It's actually not what's happening in this situation.
Oh, so they're not fucking, okay.
Shannon doesn't fuck. We don't know.
I mean, like, word.
By the way, Natsuhi-ni-san, how's your headache been lately?
Scott, you're gonna have to click. I need to get ready.
It seemed pretty serious before.
I have been much better lately. Thank you for your concern.
Oh, right.
I love you, Natsuhi.
Here. A present for you, Natsuhi.
Natsuhi. Natsuhi.
Natsuhi. Nisan.
Thank you very much.
Wait, is this shifting? This is now perspective away, so I'll be the narrator for this part then.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm always receiving gifts from you. Is this black tea?
It's herb tea with peppermint and lemon balm. It's a blend from a well-known store. It's supposed to be good for headaches. I thought it might help you too.
Rosa was always a conscientious woman. Probably because she was the youngest of four, and much younger than the other three. She managed to grow up without gaining the venomous nature of her siblings. Her kind words got Natsuhi to soften her expression for just a moment, but it wasn't enough to melt her stony gaze, hardened as it was by long years of mental stress.
Come to think of it, you're always complaining about those headaches. Pull yourself together. Jessica-chan has her exams this year, right? That's going to be a turning point in her life. Will she really be able to rely on you as a mother if you're like that?
Fucking roasted.
Besides, Natsuhi-san, you're 3 years younger than me. You should get your act together.
I apologize. I've had a tendency for headaches all my life.
Even under normal circumstances, Ava sometimes failed to choose her words carefully. But her comments aimed at Natsuhi contained shards of obvious malice, though she hid it with a smile. Of course, that fact didn't escape Natsuhi. She frantically contained her urge to grimace and pretended to ignore Ava.
Our battler-kun will have his exams this year too. Rudolph-san, shouldn't you be a little concerned as well? For the sake of your own son, you better get serious to the point of having headaches like Natsuhi-ni-san.
If I say anything, he automatically rebels. So what should I say? Should I say the opposite, that it's okay for him to mess around? That's probably the only way I could get him to listen to me. Hideyoshi Nissan, George did really well in his exams, right? Please, you've got to teach me the trick to handling children.
Well, it's probably because I got him to understand why he should study. Study isn't worth anything on its own. That's right, the real point of studying is to practice researching stuff on your own whenever you bump into something you don't know. If you can't do that, you can't be useful to society. I'm not talking about math or writing. You gotta learn how to learn.
Fuck,
Whoa, why is he such a good dad?
honestly.
Oh,
That's splendid.
That's probably like the only
I wish our
reason
Jessica
turned
could
out-
understand that as well. If she is to be the heiress of the Ushiromiya family, then at this rate,
Do you really have to force her into becoming the successor? After all, a woman has to find a woman's happiness. Parents shouldn't force such things on their children, don't you think?
Hold your horses, Ava. Each family has its own way of raising their kids. You shouldn't be pushy.
I'm sorry. Natsuhi Nissan, don't take it the wrong way.
Though the light, sorry, I forgot for a second. Though the light shining in through the window was quite warm despite the cloudy weather, there was a dark mood about the room, which was probably causing headaches for more than just Natsuhi. As if to sweep away that mood, Kyrie brightly made a suggestion to all present.
Still, this black tea has a really lovely aroma. Let's drink it right away. In Japan, you surely couldn't find something like Leopold's black tea anywhere but Ginza, right?
I see you know a lot about it, Kyrie-san. I guess it was worth going to the trouble of buying it.
Kyrie and Rosa stood up from their seats and made as if to prepare the black tea, but Natsuhi forestalled them.
I thank you both, but we can try that later. One of our people will soon be coming to bring some tea, so please, relax.
Leave it for later, you two. Let's enjoy our welcome drink. Oh, fuck. Rudolph gave a subtle signal with his eyes for them to sit down again. Kyrie and Rosa understood instantly and obediently returned to their seats. The initial greeting of the guests was complete, so it was time for them to be served some tea. It was embarrassing for the host that the tea was late, especially now that the guests were talking about making tea themselves. Natsuhi bit her lower lip, frustrated by the inaptitude of the servants who were late bringing the tea. Seeing her face, Ava immediately started to giggle. Of course, Shannon had no way of knowing what was taking place in the parlor. She came pushing a serving cart piled with teacups.
I'm ready for Nathan to voice an anime girl.
For no apparent reason, Natsuhi gave her a pained look, and Shannon could help but flinch without knowing what she had done wrong.
Excuse me.
This
Your
is so,
tea is ready.
This is so good.
Oh, Shannon-chan, it's been a while. You keep getting prettier every time I see you.
Oh, thanks.
Save the chatting for after you've set the table. The tea will get cold.
I apologize, madam.
She apologized like a small frightened animal, bumped against the serving cart, and made a jarring racket as she dropped several teaspoons. Her clumsiness made Natsuhi's expression turn even darker, which made Shannon quail even more.
Come on, Natsuhi-san. There's nothing wrong with her exchanging a few words in greeting. The tea must be plenty cold already, considering how long we've been kept waiting.
There's no need to worry. It's not cold yet.
Fucking yet. Shannon, finish setting the table quickly.
I'm sorry, madam.
Natsuhi's irritation was obvious by now. The ineptitude that delayed the tea, the clumsiness of the servant, everything pointed to the incompetence of Natsuhi's everyday leadership, making her lose face. As the person in charge of the Ushiromiya head family's kitchen, allowing that clumsiness to be exposed, today of all days, was surely nothing less than total humiliation. Lay off, Natsuhine-san. Don't you think it's a little harsh to bully Shannon-chan when she's trying her best?
I'm not bullying anyone.
What a nice aroma. May I ask what brand this is?
I'm terribly sorry. I'll find out
hey.
for you later. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that.
I actually don't know why I did that either. But
I was not even.
And
I
now-
was like,
for the sake of the audience, that was Shannon.
Yeah.
Continue on.
can do it. Again.
I'm terribly sorry. I'll find out for you later.
Kyrie was trying to be nice, hoping to cut through the tense mood.
They have the same titties.
I'm not quite sure.
The
However,
jacket is.
Oh, yeah, well, word.
however, Shannon had embarrassed herself instead.
You ever realize that Kyrie's tie is like clipped to like under her boob?
Yeah,
It's kind of weird.
that is.
Darkening Natsuki's face and the room's mood. By this point, Ava was audibly giggling.
What's this? Shan, don't you even know what you're pouring us? Come on now. You mustn't serve something so suspicious to guests. We'll need a silver spoon at the very least before we can drink this.
I'm sorry. I'll go get one immediately.
Shan, do you know what silver spoons are used for? They have to be silver. Do you know why?
No,
A teasing smile rose to Ava's face as she stared at Shannon setting the table. By itself, Ava's expression was sweet in an impish sort of way. However, the words being spun from her lips held the keenness of a razor within them. Shannon tried with all her might to avoid Ava's continuing gaze. Realizing that Shannon was hard-pressed for an answer, Rosa gave some timely help.
They say that if silver is touched by poison, it darkens. Guess you've learned something today, Shannon.
They were acting as though this tea needed to be tested for poison before it could be drunk. In Natsuki's eyes, this was an insult to both the tea and to herself for serving it. Rudolph laughed flippantly and patted Ava's shoulder. Haha! Silver cutlery wouldn't do any good for you, Aniki. Just one lick of your poisonous tongue and even a silver plate would turn pitch black.
Since I get to hear that poison tongue every day, I must be poison-proof myself by now. Ava, I don't mind when you use it on me, but you better hold back when talking to people who haven't built up a resistance.
My, how cruel. All I did was teach Shannon a bit about tea, didn't I?
Everyone followed the lead set by Hideyoshi's horse laugh and chuckle, though not easily. Only Natsuki didn't join in, but for the time being the conversation inside the parlor could now be mistaken for a lively and friendly chat. As Shannon finally finished setting the tea table and tried to leave, Kyrie apologized to her in a low voice for not being able to help. Shannon gave a light bow and made a hasty retreat. Shannon cast her eyes downwards as she pushed the cart down the corridor. Anyone seeing the pitiful way she looked might easily conclude that she'd been bullied in some way. Don't be sad. You didn't do anything wrong, Mie-san.
You were watching.
That is my role. Madam and Ava-sama can go to hell. But the worst coward is that guy. Cannon glared hatefully in the opposite direction of the parlor. The preparations for the tea had been delayed by some trifling problems in the kitchen. Those problems were not Shannon's fault. In fact, it had been Goda's mistake. After all, there was no way a show-off like Goda would give up a flashy job like bringing in tea when the guests arrived. He had ended up wasting time preparing the tea once again. So when he realized he wouldn't be able to score any points for this job, he pushed the task of setting the table on Shannon, who happened to be passing by. You might call it a clever move on his part, but there could be no doubt that it was a cowardly one.
It's okay, Cannon-kun. Thanks. I'm not bothered by it at all.
Cannon's silence vividly expressed the distance between Shannon's words and how she actually felt.
Thank you. Even if you're the only one who understands, I feel a bit better.
You keep your feelings too bottled up, Nei-san. You should be less hard on yourself for once.
Yeah. Thanks.
Suddenly, they both felt someone's presence and whirled around. A middle-aged man stood there. It was Genji, the head servant.
What are you doing there? Shannon, hurry back to the kitchen.
Yes. If you'll excuse me.
Shannon humbly obeyed and promptly made to push the cart and leave. However, Kenan appealed to Genji in silence, bearing something in his eyes that he could not express in words.
What is it?
Did something happen?
Shannon didn't do anything wrong, but even so, they...
Stop it, Canon-kun. Please, excuse me. I'll return to work immediately. Canon-kun, you should go back to your post too. Please.
If you say so, Nason.
If that is all, then go.
Yes. If you'll excuse me. From the shadows in the hallway, an old woman wearing an apron watched over them. It was Kumasawa. Poor Shannon-san, Kanon-san. There's no reason for those two to be picked on. Still, Goda-san's dislike for them is an undeniable fact. Until Goda-san was taken in by the Ushiramiya head family, I hear he worked for a fabulous hotel somewhere. The manner of work he learned there was quite impressive, I believe. It's just that Goda-san is the newest servant here. He must have a lot of pride accumulated from his previous positions. Because Shannon-san and Kanon-kun are seniors here at the mansion, and yet are inexperienced and have gone through much less in life than he has, he picks on them at every chance he gets. And also, sad as it may be, they are disliked by Madame Natsuki too. Of course, if we're talking about experience, the Madam has been in this family much longer. And yet, this is one point where I cannot help but sympathize with the Madam as well. Truly, the Master is a man with many sins on his conscience. Why didn't he realize that such a trifling whim of his would give the Madam such an inferiority complex? Of course, on the inside, even the Madam is fully aware that those two didn't deserve to be treated so harshly. However, the heart has reasons that reason knows not. I feel so sorry for them. I can't do anything but watch over them from the shadows.
That's the end of the chapter, maybe?
No way.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't get the
Okay,
crowd.
holy fuck.
That's worrisome.
That's concerning.
Well,
It's midnight.
it is midnight. Well, no, noon, I think.
It's high noon.
Mm.
He did say that. Hideyoshi did say that I was coming up to lunch soon.
Yeah.
Oh.